And there are like local services like teaching retirees like how to use technology. And there's this like there's this 92 or 91-year-old woman. Yeah, she says that she wants to learn how to use a dating website. So, yeah. So that project, we're still trying to learn how to teach them how to do that. But we're really excited. But yeah.
I'm seeing, it says the Pantheon, and it's so big and so pretty. I don't even have words to describe.
Even if you are connected to education, like me, I've been out of the classroom for 11 years now, and I even forget what it's like to be in a classroom sometimes, and I need a refresher. So all my peers need to read surveys like these to understand what teachers are going through right now, what they're concerned about, what reality looks like, and how we can use AI to address the issues that they're already dealing with, rather than create new goals or create new issues.
The wall is a metaphor for all the things that have nothing to do with generative AI, but create a barrier to teaching with it. Travel back in time with me. Think about your 6th grade class. Does it look anything like this?
So everybody, pretty much everybody, has been through school. They've seen what school looks like. They had a favorite teacher probably, and they remember what they did. So they want to mimic that happening. So that's educators mimicking past practices, but also your parents. The parents that are coming in, they're dropping the students off, and they've got an idea of what it should look like based on those past practices of what they experienced. So when people are wanting to bring new ideas in, that's often very concerning. And then going past that, now we have artificial intelligence, generative AI, and these are causing us to move away from our traditional approaches to teaching. So there's a lot of resistance from people believing that they've got a strong understanding of what education is.
But despite the stiff resistance, newer, more active teaching strategies continue to spread.
Things like project-based learning, active learning, flipped classrooms, real world, authentic contexts for students that are culturally and personally relevant. If we can use AI to do those things, we're going to transform education, and we're going to look back and think.
But not everyone's on board.
When we first started doing project-based learning at the school, I wanted it to be dynamic, and that meant integrating multiple different subjects. It worked great. There were definitely setbacks, but the part that became a massive challenge was figuring out how to communicate that type of learning to families.
Okay, so we made this tube. We made it into a square, kind of like, just like folding it in half like that, since it's more sturdy and yeah, so you can just kind of.
When kids started getting so excited about what they were learning, when parents heard them, they were saying, "Are you just letting my kid play all day?" It was such a challenge for me to try and figure out how to communicate all of the amazing things that I was seeing these kids develop. I tried to bring in research because I knew that there was research that supported this type of work. I tried to bring in real examples and curriculum nights, and parents would cross their arms and look at me in narrowed eyes, and it wasn't making it through.
Even teachers struggle to have a language of learning. But that's the essence of what every kid is asked to do every day. We need to be better. My work is called visible learning because I want to make the learning visible, not because it's automatically visible. It's not. It's in here. And so that's where that whole language of learning is so powerful.
So it switched to trying to be creative in how to get that learning across, and realizing that families didn't have the opportunity to see what I was seeing. They weren't in the classroom during the day while they were at work or at home taking care of things. So the goal became how to make that kind of learning visible. So that started our creation of mini documentaries.
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law.
So I started by having the kids record using their laptops, and then some of them who brought in mobile devices. I wanted them to capture moments of failure. And at first it was hard for the kids because they didn't want anyone to see that. But I said, but how will someone know how great it was that you came up with a solution to fix it if they didn't see how badly it failed in the first place? So in this process, the kids started creating blooper outtakes of all the things that failed, epic fails.
Yeah.
And they got really excited when they captured an epic fail, because they're like, oh, this is going to be great. People are going to go, oh, because they felt it. They know what it feels like with their peers when they see something fail. But their next goal was to say, how do you capture your process to solve that problem? Then, how do you show the next iteration of design?
It's kind of lopsided. So, yeah, we need to kind of cut it, level it, and it kind of looks like this is going to slip too. I can already tell.
So our next idea is to put a bar in the middle to hold it up and have more stability, and also to make these tighter and the rolls tighter, and we're still sticking to the triangle idea.
Okay, so we added a beam in the middle for support so that it wouldn't slip, and we rearranged extras.
We've been using AI tools in our school. It is kind of a trial and error process, and not everything sticks. And so we are in this learning stage between all of us, staff and students. We're really trying to figure out how we can implement it best.
Well, all of this is new to all of us. So as an instructor, I have to be willing to fail, and I have to be willing to fail in front of my students publicly and show them that this is part of the learning process. If we don't fail on things, it means we're not actually learning anything. So willingness to fail is definitely important.
That's going to be very difficult for an educator that wants to be really innovative and try out some new things, because that's very, very risky. Risk is kind of seen as, oh no, you need to go with what you always have done, because that's a safe option.
Yeah, I mean, I have grown to love failure, which seems like a really weird thing to say, because we're always taught that if you fail, you did something wrong, and therefore you're not as good as you should be. But it's absolutely part of getting better, and in some ways, failure leads to more progression than success would. And so that's why we do a lot of group projects, and we do a lot of collaboration, and we figure out, well, that didn't work. Okay, let's break it down. What element failed? What element can we substitute for it so that it will work? And that type of trial and error process, and we document everything that we do along the way so that it's this very drawn out way of doing it.
But I just really challenge educators to be aware that it's going to be changing rapidly, and we have to be able to change with it. So we need to calm down, understand it, and let our students and parents know we're learning this together. And mistakes will be made, and it's okay. We got to just get ourselves up, recognize that mistake, make some adjustments, and move forward. And not have teachers or superintendents or school boards feel as though somebody's going to get fired or lose their job if they make a mistake in the process. Those are things we have to keep in mind as we move forward with AI.
So for me, my educational journey was not what you would call typical. I did have a lot of teachers in my family, and that kind of made me think that maybe that was a profession, but I wanted to be an engineer. And so I went to college to be an architectural engineer and quickly realized that I was way out of my league. I had a lot of creative thoughts, but everything in engineering is very black and white. So I thought, well, let me look around. And all of a sudden I realized throughout my life, I've been doing things like helping teachers out, helping my mom. She's a teacher. My dad actually had a degree in teaching. And I thought, maybe I'll give this a try. And I just fell in love with it instantly. And somewhere along that process, my administrator / coordinator told me, listen, don't take offense to this, but you shouldn't be a teacher. And I said, why not? And she said, you're way too nice to the students. You want to make relationships with them. They're there to learn from you, not to make relationships. And I started thinking, she's got this wrong. And so I'm Sicilian, so I remember everything that someone tells me. I didn't quit. It motivated me to continue to grow. And 5 years later, when I won Teacher of the Year at a school, I took a picture of me and all my students in front of a billboard. And I sent that photo to her with no words. It just, here you go. Here it is. And she, I assume, got it. And now goes, well, I was wrong with that one. That's my hope.
I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. It's not supposed to be.
Plenty of administrators feel that distance and that sense of mistrust, again, despite their best efforts. I think in education, there is a wall that divides teachers and administrators, and the wall is this metaphor for centuries of mistrust. I mean, if you look all the way back to when American education first started in the early 19th century, there tended to be a very hierarchical structure. So this mistrust comes a lot from, I think, leaders coming in, maybe not as eager to listen to teachers as they could be. And I think there is also a lot of pressure placed on teachers to do things that they never signed up to do in the first place, from being mental health professionals and physical health professionals and just this big social safety net, when in reality, I only studied how to teach kids writing. I was an English teacher. That is what I know how to do. What I don't know how to do is all of the other things stacked on teachers' shoulders right now. And then too, as a leader, I went to administrator school, but that does not mean that I know absolutely everything about what every single teacher, student, related services staff member, and parent in the district needs. So we're both groups are taking on so much more responsibility than they ever signed up for. And I think that when we ignore the issue that systemically teachers and admin are so set up against each other, of course it makes it worse. And then not talking about it means that then when we do talk about it, we have a hard time because we've never expressed certain things before, or we don't have the vocabulary. So I think that when we look at an issue like AI, and AI is here, it's not coming, it's absolutely here, it could easily be perceived as one more thing or one more innovation that we want nothing to do with. And you can't blame teachers for seeing it that way, right? They have so many other things to focus on. They do not have time for one more additional tech thing.
But generative AI is not just one more additional tech thing.
Teachers who have really taken well to generative AI and have sort of been the front runners with it have found that it definitely saves time for them. One of the most powerful ways that they're using it is actually for lesson planning.
But boy, if we could save even 10% of time and money that we do for teachers and for administrators, those are a lot of resources we could plow back into teaching and learning.
Most teachers are somewhere in the middle there. They're curious about it, but they just don't have the time to learn about it as a tool. It becomes one more thing.
And then I think the way admin are talking about it too is probably a little bit, reductive, right? Like, administrators don't necessarily have time to go through all of the technological things that AI can do in the classroom and explore every AI tool and learn it really as thoroughly and as fully as they might like to, because administrators are super busy. So when are they supposed to learn all of these things? And by the way, teachers could say the exact same thing. When am I supposed to learn all of the technological nuances of AI and how to incorporate it in my classroom? I barely have enough time for grading. This is a perfect example of something that is trying to be incorporated into a teetering system.
That is a 360-degree measure of teachers' feelings about their working conditions and their job, and it's designed to capture past feelings, current feelings, and predicted feelings about their workplace. We administered the index for the first time this year to a group of teachers, more than 1,000 teachers, and then to a group of school leaders. And while teachers' average morale was a -13, on a scale that ranged from -100 to +100. +25 is what leaders think teacher morale is. -13 is what teachers tell us morale is. So there's quite a gap. And I think that could be a good conversation starter at some schools where these gaps do exist.
I think we have to get very real about the fact that the nation's schools are expected to do so much more than just academic instruction.
And that the message is always that you should be doing more and doing more and doing more. And
often technology enthusiasts start with the technology, and that's the wrong way to think about innovation.
We often jump onto the bright, shiny things without addressing the existing issues that we already have.
And there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a tornado and having someone tell you the weather's just fine. You feel like you're not dealing with somebody who's in reality with you. And so
educators are ready to be told that it's not just on you.
And forcing them to do things will actually diminish their interest, will diminish their sense of autonomy.
And what it can end up doing is just sort of making you feel defeated and deflated.
We need to better understand how teachers think.
What they want out of AI in education, what their concerns are, what their hopes are.
I think it's two pieces. Understand really deeply what teachers are going through.
And think, okay, what are our systemic issues that we need to address to then move forward?
And only then look through the lens of the technology.
What we're seeing is a lot of like cheerleading and rah-rah that is completely denying, ignoring, dismissing, invalidating the real, genuine concerns and struggles that teachers are having.
If you're not currently teaching, then you're not going to have the same insights. You have a different perspective, perhaps. And I think that these perspectives from outside folks are important too, but I always want to really recenter the voices of teachers. What is actually working for them?
Because everyone needs to be reminded about the reality in classrooms.
The kids we have now are not the kids we had before COVID.
There's a reality out there, sometimes outside of maybe our realities. You know, sometimes we forget that the easiest thing to do is just to listen.
ChatGPT, a language model created by OpenAI, has the ability to respond to prompts in a human-like manner.
Our journey with artificial intelligence really started obviously on the 30th of November 2022 when ChatGPT went public. You know, is it an opportunity? Is it a threat? Or what is it?
But you know, ChatGPT surprised everyone and certainly surprised education systems, and a lot of them were just wondering, what do we do about AI?
I know many places here, states here in Australia have banned the use of it in school, which excites me because I know that everything systems banned is usually exciting.
There's been such a narrow conversation, I think, by most educators around simply cheating.
Because the system values your grade more than the student values learning.
Then surprisingly, the thinking around Gen AI began to change rapidly.
The fact that generative AI is internet driven and could literally be everywhere at once, almost immediately, that was completely unprecedented.
And this is going to fundamentally change the design of learning because it allows us to start to do things that were just never possible with the types of technologies we had before.
I think what makes generative AI unique, though, is that
average is over now. Every boss today, he or she has access to above average automation, above average software, above average robotics, above average cheap labor, and now even above average cheap genius.
What could we do that would profoundly improve the experience for students, but also for teachers and administrators? I think we're at the very early stage of that.
Please hit the like button below and subscribe to see the new episodes.